What do you guys think about my sneaker platter? It's a lot of sneakers. Whee! And round we go. Hello everybody, I'm Lal. Welcome back to Sustainable Jungle, where we share sustainability, tips, tricks, hacks, products, brands, and stories to better our little planet. And today we are talking about my favorite sneakers, sustainable sneakers. But before we get to my favorites, I want to first talk about what makes a sneaker sustainable so that you can identify eco-friendly kicks, or at least more eco-friendly kicks. Because hey, let's face it, we all own a pair of sneakers, maybe 2 or 7. That's not so sustainable. Number 1 is materials. The most important thing to consider for a pair of sneakers is what it's made of, because that will massively impact its footprint, pun definitely intended, and its end-of-life outcome. Now, there are many materials that are used and marketed as eco-friendly, but ideally, you want to either look for natural materials because they biodegrade, recycled materials like recycled plastics, i.e. recycled plastic bottles, Econol made from discarded fishing nets, and old sneakers themselves. These materials, yes, they don't biodegrade, but they're still far more sustainable than virgin materials. Or the most sustainable sneaker material would be a combo, recycled natural materials like recycled cotton. Now, the tricky thing with sneakers is that they're not generally made of just one material. There are typically 5 main components to consider. That would be the uppers, the laces, the insoles, the midsoles, and the outsoles. And the best sustainable sneakers incorporate responsible materials in all of these. For uppers, we've seen brands use organic cotton, bamboo fabric, hemp fabric, and lysol, but also some interesting upcycled fabrics harvested from the waste of other industries, like Pinatex, which is made from pineapple leaves. As for laces, currently organic or recycled cotton is the best option, ideally without the plastic covers like these, but recycled synthetics are also often used. For insoles, cork fabric is arguably the best. Insole alternative is antimicrobial. It provides enough give and cushion to be able to mold to the shape of your foot. Hemp, I can also say, is super comfy and has a lot going for it, but I'll come back to this one in a bit. And then we have midsoles. This component is the most tricky from a sustainability perspective. Most still use non-biodegradable plastic-based materials simply because they perform the best. EVA foam is a usual suspect here, even in sustainable sneakers, to give them supportive light cushioning. However, some brands are opting to use a blend of partially recycled EVA. For outsoles, the ideal is natural rubber. It's durable while still being bio-based and biodegradable. It's also renewable, and it can be sourced through tapping, not chopping down trees. Number 2 is supply chain and labor practices. Basically, you want to be sure that the brand you're buying from treats their workers fairly. Problem is, it can be a very difficult factor for a brand to nail unless they've done extensive audits and have all the relevant certifications. And that's expensive, it's time consuming, and well, it often comes with its own loopholes, so you can never be 100% sure that every single box is ticked. Fantastic. But since we advocate for progress over perfection, we look for any genuine efforts towards transparency and traceability to ensure fair labor practices. They're getting paid fair wages, safe working environments across their supply chain. And the quickest way to look for this is, of course, certifications. Like Fair Trade is an obvious one. There's also Fair Labor Association, certified B Corp, Worldwide Responsible Accredited Production, BSCI, or SAI 8000, for example. Don't worry, I'll pop a link below to all the sustainability and manufacturing certifications that are worth looking out for. There's a lot, I know. Also worth just bearing in mind that small brands may not be able to afford certifications, but are paying fair wages and providing safe working conditions. So please don't discount them or simply rely on certifications. Number 3 is carbon reduction and commitments. And these are any additional efforts by a brand to reduce their carbon footprint. And there's a lot of examples here, but to give you a flavor, it's moving to renewable energy, offering recycling programs if their products can't be composted, carbon offsetting, insetting within their own operations, or using recycled post-consumer waste for packaging. And there's a lot more, of course. Number 4 is inclusivity. You also ideally want to support brands that are making their shoes attractive and available to a broad range of people. Like inclusive sizing, the models they use to promote their clothing, and pricing to an extent. And the last consideration is paying it forward. Brands who give back, companies who support local charities and help their communities in some way. Maybe they donate profits or product. organize beach cleanups, they pay for the employees to take a day off to volunteer. Look, this is not a requirement though, because often smaller brands don't have the resources. Okay, now that we've got a bit of clarity on what a sustainable sneaker is, it's probably worth just mentioning that the most sustainable sneakers of all are the ones you're already wearing. So you know, only buy what you need. But hey, if they're falling off your feet, then by all means, happy shopping. And I'd suggest, checking out online thrift stores, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm in the same boat, no judgment. Okay, I want to talk about 4 brands that I really, really like. And no, this is not a sponsored video. I did not get paid to promote these brands. And first up, we have 8,000 Kicks, the Portugal-based brand making the world's first waterproof cannabis sneaker. And 2 points I want to mention right off the bat. No, you cannot smoke this shoe, and no, TSA won't detain you if you wear these on your next flight. Apparently, the only high you'll get is a runner's high. They have 2 styles, the Explorer V2, these, and the Seeker, both priced at $129, both 100% vegan, and both damn good at repelling water. And they come in a range of solid colors that contrast with the white sole here, and they also have an all-black V2 option, which is the one I have. Each shoe upper is made from industrial hemp, fibers which are turned into fabric using a non-chemical steam explosion process. Sounds pretty cool. The result is a very resilient natural material which is thermoregulating, antimicrobial, antibacterial, and breathable. The insoles are also hemp-based, and the outsoles for the V2 are made from bloom foam algae. Not entirely sure what this is, but what I do know is that it's bio-based material that partially replaces the fossil fuels with harvested algae. And the brand who makes it and the brand who 8,000 Kicks has partnered with also removes harmful algae blooms from marine ecosystems, hence the name. As for the Seekers, they rely on a 0-drop recycled rubber for their soles. They manufacture these shoes in a 4th generation Portugal hemp shoe factory and a factory in Dongguan, China, which apparently has some of the best hemp tech automation in the world. On the 8,000 Kicks website, you can actually see a breakdown of the workers' wages, which are pretty similar between the 2 factories, and other benefits like healthcare, education, free food, accommodation, and the percentage of renewable energy used in each factory. And they source the hemp from Romania and France and China, but TBC on what the policies and codes of conduct are behind the growers. Otherwise, 8,000 Kicks is carbon neutral through hemp farming and tree planting. They've donated previously to charities some of their shoes, and they also sell a bunch of other hemp-based products from backpacks, wallets, boots, socks, and more. So let's talk about my super scientific approach to testing. It's not, I don't really have one. I have a neutral, sort of narrow footing, and walking in them a heap, I can't really fault them. They're really comfortable. I was actually surprised at how soft the hemp insole is. Probably as soft as cork. They're a little roomy in the toe box, but I kind of like that as it gives your foot a bit of space to expand, which if you're active makes a lot of sense. In fact, a lot of running shoes build this into their design. And in wet weather, no slip, this algae bloom foam is grippy. I mean, of course, I wasn't trying to like aquaplane or ski across the road or anything. And I haven't seriously tested their waterproof properties on the upper. So if you own a pair and you've taken them scuba diving, let me know how they stack up in the comments below. All in all, a really great shoe, worth the price for a comfortable, robust, and active package. Thanks, Bernardo and team. I love your work. The next brand I want to talk about is a certified B Corp and ISPO Gold Award winner, which is the leading global sports platform highlighting exceptional sports products. Sounds like a big brand. Nope. They're actually a family-owned Swiss company who create a limited range of sustainable kicks, like these low-rise urban woolers, which Joy's been wearing, and these high-top black-nose sky woolers, which I'm wearing. And they also sell super comfy slippers, ballerinas, or flats, slip-ons, barefoot shoes, wool boots, and you can even customize your own sneakers, including the eyelet colors, the laces, and 2 wool color options. But I gotta say though, Baabuk's colorways are the best. I mean, some of the two-tone pops are, I mean, I don't have the confidence to pull them off, but if you want to turn heads, they are really, really cool. And they have seasonal connections too, with unique colorway options like this pair. Price-wise, you're looking at about $129 for the urban woolers and up to about $169 for the black nose at the top end. Wool is obviously the principal fabric for Baabuk sneakers, and it's all muslin-free. It's all ethically sourced from sheep living in Serra da Estrela National Park in Portugal, except for the wool used in this black nose pair. This is actually sourced from local Swiss farmers who shepherd the nomadic Valais black nose sheep, aka the cutest sheep in the world. Yep, I have to agree with that. I just want to squeeze those little jobbies. I'll pop a link to their their video below behind the story of the black nose collection, and let me know what you think. Are they the cutest sheep? I'd love to get your thoughts. Both options use a soft merino blend for the inner lining, and besides wool being completely compostable, it's also temperature regulating, breathable, and has natural wicking properties. So good in the summer and winter, and they're also water repellent, which is helpful. The laces though are made of elastic, so you can't compost these, but for ease of putting on and off your shoes, there's no shoelace tying at all. It's too easy, big time saver. So I do like that. You just got to be sure to dispose of them properly once you're done. The sole for the Sky Woolers is rubber, which is great. However, they have opted for TPU in the Urban Woolers, which is a thermoplastic polyurethane, often used in safety footwear for extra resilience to abrasion and cold temperatures. Look, it is a fairly safe material. It's recyclable and it does biodegrade much faster than alternative plastics. As for their supply chain, it is fully traceable. They also guarantee safe working conditions, no child labor, equal employment opportunities for women, and a 25% higher salary than the national average wage. Their sneakers are 100% felted and made in Portugal's historic Burrell factory. Anyway, it's near to where the sheep are actually raised, and the factory is famous for its hand techniques and using 100-plus-year-old machinery to craft their products. Baabuk also offers a repair kit for $5 that can help you extend the life of your shoes and encourage people to rather repair than replace. And they offer a recycling program, which we really love. So you can just send back your old Baabuks and they'll either donate them or they'll ensure they're properly recycled. In exchange, they'll give you a rebate, depending on the condition of your old kicks. So, what did I think of these? Okay, well, these are a bit more narrow in the toe box, so it's a snug fit, but they're pretty much as comfortable as they sound. I mean, I was a little bit concerned about the wool being a bit prickly and itching, but I haven't got that sense at all, and I think that's because they've opted for this fine merino inner lining. Both have a 5mm heel drop, and the arch I think is about 4mm height, so it's a pretty level footing, good for hiking around urban environments, but aesthetic-wise, I love Baabuks. I think their colorways are standout, and the minimalist designs are just on point. Expensive, yes, but serious quality and sustainable. So worth the bucks if you want to spoil yourself. The next brand is another certified B Corp making sustainable skate shoes. In their words, Cariumas are good looking, crazy comfy, and consciously made. They make a variety of low tops, high tops, slip-on sneakers, and specific skate shoes if you're an actual skater. They have mostly solid colorways like these all blacks and off-white, and a bunch of tones in between like magenta, sand, rose, shadow blue. And there's also collabs. They often do collabs, and you'll see some rather funky sketches and graphics in these collector editions. The slip-ons go for about $79 at the lowest range, all the way up to about $159 for the Katiba Pro high tops. 65% of Cariuma's line is completely vegan friendly. They use a range of materials in their construction, from OK Tech certified bamboo, BCI and GOTS certified organic cotton, and natural gum rubber in the sole. Their insoles are made from ethically sourced Brazilian sugarcane and captured CO2 into a bio-based plastic. And according to the manufacturer, I'm Green, this material can be recycled. They also use plant and mamona oil, which is a plant-based alternative to petroleum-based foam. And the laces and thread and labels are made of GRS certified recycled PET bottles. For the upper, depending on the style, they use suede, organic cotton, and a gold-rated LWD certified leather, which is produced using recycled water and renewable energy. Happy days. And they only use Blue Sign approved dyes. They don't specify though where their suppliers are based, and they don't have 100% traceability at the raw material sourcing, knitting, processing stages, but they do claim that their supply partners pay 79% above the minimum wage. And their manufacturing partner is RAP certified and is audited once a year. And this basically just means that their factory is socially responsible. There's no child forced labor, no false reps, no unethical practices. And they also have a reforestation program, which for each pair of sneakers they sell, they actually plant 2 trees in the Brazilian rainforest. And currently they're at just over 2 million trees of 100 different native species. They're also working on a program to recycle or reuse excess materials and only use recycled and recyclable packaging. As for wearing these Cariuma Pros, well, because they aren't regular sneakers, they have specific reinforcements for actual skaters like me. They're a bit more stiff around the ankles for added protection, and there's additional cushioning to soften landings. They're purpose-built, but if you wanted to add a layer of support to your feet and pass off like you actually know what a 360 flip is, then this is a solid upgrade. These are super quality shoes and they will last you a long time. And the final brand on this list that I want to highlight is probably the most well-known. I'm sure you've heard of the San Francisco-based Allbirds. Casual sneakers was their first foray into the sustainable shoe scene. And from there, they expanded into loungers, boat shoes, hiking shoes, slippers, sandals, and even trail and running shoes. And you can choose from a bunch of colors, mostly solid colors, which are contrasted with an ivory white sole. But there are a few options that have one mainish colorway if you prefer something more head-turny, like Lux Purple or Calm Coral. And they start at around about $100 for their loungers, and they go all the way up to about $170 for their Flyer Mizzles, which is their premium distance running shoe. And as for materials, you can either choose the tree lines, which are not this one, but they use eucalyptus pulp tensile lysol, in other words, which is produced in a closed loop process, or the wool lines, which is this one. And they use a superfine ZQ certified merino wool. And in some cases, they also use a ZQ RX, which is the regenerative wool standard. ZQ, by the way, is the New Zealand certifying body that ensures the wool is sustainable, ethical, and traceable. In fact, it's arguably one of the most stringent certifications for animal welfare and land management. As for the laces, they're made of recycled plastic bottles, and they're threaded through TPU-based eyelets. They use partial castor bean oil and merino wool for their insole to minimize synthetic content, and for their actual soles, they use a carbon-negative EVA called Sweet Foam. And like Cariuma's, it's also made from Brazilian sugarcane. These shoes are handcrafted in South Korea, and they actually have full traceability for their entire Tier 1 suppliers who are audited twice a year by third parties for social and environmental compliance with their code, and they're hoping to expand this to all suppliers by 2025. Their manufacturing facilities are also implementing water and energy saving practices and will be completely run on renewables by 2025. They're also a carbon neutral certified brand, and they use recycled cardboard packaging, and they partner with Soles for Souls, so any shoes that are returned to them are donated to those in need. As for my take on these sneakers, well, I've owned these bad boys for 4 years, and as you can see, they are splitting at the seams, but I have literally worn them to death. Seriously good quality, super comfortable. In fact, they are the closest thing to slippers without actually being slippers. And that is it. We are done. Oh, so what is the takeaway here? The most sustainable sneakers are the ones you're already wearing. Next are secondhand, but understandably, this is not everyone's cup of tea, I know. But if you are buying new, and let's be honest, we're all, to an extent, sneakerheads, we may as well choose a better, more responsible pair. And all the brands I've mentioned here are on that spectrum. They're better quality than your average Nike or Adidas or other high street big brand label. I will add links to all the resources I mentioned, including a list on more innovative brands designing some seriously cool shoes out there. And if you have any recommendations, what are they made of and where can I find them? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, any button if sustainable living is your thing. I'm Lyle from Sustainable Jungle. Much love and happy feet and planet.